my name's Kayla. I work here at the KC West Columbia Branch Library. I'm going to teach you all today about a new project that some of us started here over the summer. We undertook the project to create sleeping mats for the homeless. This project not only creates a product that can be given away to those in need for free, but it also recycles and reuses the plastic bags that you get from the grocery store. So we do this by cutting and tying together the plastic bags to create what we call plarn, which we then roll up into these big balls and then crochet to make a sleeping mat. Our final sleeping mats look a little bit like this. They've got some ties at one end so it can be rolled up and tied together into a nice, neat little roll. And the final size is about 3 foot by 6 foot. So today I'm just going to teach you sort of how to create the plarn and then how to get started on the mat. Now to complete this mat, you will need to know how to single crochet. I'm not going to teach you that skill in this video today, but if you'd like to learn, we have all kinds of books here at the library that can help you learn how to crochet. We also have resources online under our resources tab, and the DIY crafts and hobbies section. There should be some files there that can help you learn how to single crochet. It's one of the most basic crochet steps, and so it shouldn't take you all that long. If you want to contribute to this project, but you don't know how, or you don't have the time, or anything like that, the KC West Columbia Branch Library at 1500 Augusta Road will be taking plastic bag donations, and then if you just bring us your clean, dry plastic grocery bags, we will quarantine them, and then we will put in all the work and cut them up, tie them together, and create the plastic mats. So if you have any questions, give us a call at 803-794-6791. And our reference section, who's coordinating everything, is extension number 4. And like I said, you can drop those clean, dry plastic bags off at 1500 Augusta Road anytime that we're open. The first step to creating plarn is to organize your plastic bags. So if you're like me, you store plastic bags at home kind of haphazardly, just plastic bags inside more plastic bags, inside more plastic bags. So what you have to do is one at a time. You take your untidy, unruly plastic bag, and we are going to take it from the bottom. You kind of tuck the corners in. If you just stretch it, sort of like that, that tucks the corners in for you, and you'll see it's pretty see-through, that it sort of folds it in on itself there. And you'll do that with the other side as well. You just put your finger in the corner here and then pull it tight with the top of the bag and smooth it out. So now you have a nice folded, smooth plastic bag, almost resembling what they look like before you put groceries in them. Now with that, we are going to take it and fold it in half so that it lines up something like this. And you've got both of the handles right next to each other. And then we're going to take that and fold it in half again so that it looks like one straight line from bottom to handle. Like that. Now from here, you want to kind of smooth the air out of it. And what we're going to do is we just have to cut off either end. So we're going to cut off the handles and we're going to cut off the closed end down here. Take my scissors and cut off the closed end like so. and then cut off, static electricity, cut off the handles as well. So those are going to be scrap pieces. Those we do not need. So these will be recycled just like you would a typical plastic bag. Now we're left with a rectangular plastic bag here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this into strips that are about 2 inches wide. So you don't have to use a ruler. It can definitely be guesstimated. 2 inches is maybe 3 fingers, although I have sort of fat fingers. So if you have really skinny hands, it might be 4 fingers. But I usually do a strip that's about 3 fingers wide. And we're just going to cut these strips here. Doesn't have to be precise. Can be very much guesstimated. They don't have to be perfectly straight lines. This is all going to be turned into our plastic yarn or our plarn, and nobody's going to know whether these were perfectly straight, perfectly 2-inch sections at all. So feel free to just sort of guesstimate your way there. The strip should be about that wide. And so out of each bag, you're probably going to get, if it's your typical average size grocery bag, you're probably going to get 6 or 7 strips. If one of them's a little bit smaller than the rest, again, nobody's paying attention. It'll be all fine. And so in the end, you're left with strips like these, which we will then unravel. And this is the base of our plarn, these plastic loops here. Okay, I've got a few of them done here. So we're going to take each strip, and the very first one is always the most difficult because it takes a little bit of finagling to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our right-handed strip, one in each hand, put it through our left-handed one so that you create kind of a T, like so. From there, we're going to take our right-handed strip again and put it through the other portion of the T so that you pass the same strip through itself. And then you just pull it down and tighten it. And that connects the 2 strips together. Then to build your chain, you just do the same thing with another section. So you take the strip in your right hand, pass it through the one in your left, and then take the very end of that one in your right hand, pass it through the one in your left, and tighten it gently until it forms a little knot. And it doesn't have to be super tight. It can be fairly loose. That's no problem at all. Now that I've got a pretty good amount here, I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the plarn ball I've already been working on. So this is just like attaching it to the bags before it. So you take one in your left, one in your right. You take the one in your right hand and put it through. Now the hard part here will be you've got to pass everything that you've worked on previously through this strip that's now in your left hand. So I'm not even going to ball that up. I'm just going to sort of get it in a clump and pass it through this. And then we tighten. And that gets attached to the ball of yarn that I already have. And I just roll it up, and I will use that to begin crocheting our plastic mat. That's the next part I'm going to show you. Now, the plastic mats, like people, can vary in size, in width, height. The general guidelines are a 3-foot wide by 6-foot tall mat. but it doesn't have to be perfect. I've brought a ruler just to help me out with my guesstimating, but it really, everybody's different, so everybody's going to need or want a different size mat. The 3 foot by 6 foot is just large enough that it will fit most people. So I'm actually going to use a slightly larger Plarn ball that we started on before. And to start this out, you're going to do a basic chain with your crochet, and you're going to chain, I think it's about 40, but like I said, you just try to get about 3 feet. There's no magic number to it or anything. One tip I do have for crocheting the plastic bags is that you want to have a looser stitch. If you can see the plastic mat that I've finished, my stitch is fairly loose. There's some stretch there and there's some spaces in between each stitch. This will still keep the person laying on it up off the ground, keep them drier, less cold. However, it also makes it easier for you to crochet with the Plarn. If you've never crocheted with the Plarn before, it's a little more inflexible. It's not as yielding. It's not as giving as a fiber yarn. And so I tend to do looser stitches so that it's easier to get your giant crochet hook through them. For this project, I'm using a Q crochet hook, just a plastic one from practically any store. So it's a Q, 17 to 15.75 millimeters. And this is a pretty good size to crochet with. I would say that you shouldn't use anything smaller than a Q. If anything, you would want a slightly larger hook because you've got to fit the plastic yarn into that hook. And if you can see, the Q is just barely big enough to hold it. So we are going to start our chain, and we start it just like we would with any sort of fiber yarn. We make that sort of slip stitch there. And so we have a little bit of leftover just to have at the end. It'll be easy to tuck it in once we're all done. And then we are going from this slip stitch. It might not, a little too tight, is not slipping. Here we go. Okay, from our slip stitch, I'm just going to do about a chain of 40, and this should end up being about 3 feet long. So bear with me while I get that done. Like I said, the Plarn takes a little bit of getting used to, and it's really a very individual thing to crochet. I find it a little bit harder than fiber yarn, but if you've worked with it before, maybe you're a little more used to things. But it took me a few times. I had to restart several times to really get a handle on how to work with the Plarn. And so if you have to stop, undo things, restart, there's no shame in that. I did it several times. I, at one point, I think had about 6 inches of my mat done. And it wasn't wide enough, in my opinion. And I unraveled the whole thing and went back and restarted. So there's definitely no shame in restarting if you don't like how it's turning out, or if you think it's too big, or if your stitches seem too tight. Go back, keep a really loose hand. As you can see, my stitches are very loose. There's lots of space in there, lots of flexibility. And so don't be afraid to go back and restart. About 2.5 feet so far. That is about 3 feet for me. That ended up being 34 stitches for me. It could be more, it could be less, depending on how thick your plarn is, what hook you're using, and how tight your stitches are. I kept mine fairly loose. So from this point, I'm going to give it 1 extra stitch on the chain, and then I'm going to start single crocheting my way back. And that's going to be the entirety of the bag. It's all single crochet. There's no special stitches in there. Even when you get to the end and do the handles, all I did was some chain handles. And so there was nothing special about them. I just started from about the third points, and I did 2 handles in a length that's about 3 feet as well, I would say. So let me do 1 more stitch, and then I am just going to start single crocheting. And so again, I like to keep it fairly loose. I would not pull that tight. I would leave it loose like that, and I would give yourself a little bit of extra room there on your working stitch. And that is just going to help with the flexibility of the plarn, being able to get that hook back through your stitches. If you're really fighting it, unfortunately, the only way to solve a tight stitch is to unravel it and start again. But like I said, there's no shame in that. I had to do it several times on my first sleeping mat. And you'll just work your way back to the other end and then single stitch it until it's about 6 feet tall. Once you're done at the end, I just put a quick finishing edge on it, and then I went in and chained some handles that are about 3 feet long as well. And so that way the mats can be folded in half and then rolled all the way up. And I'm just doing this kind of sloppily to show you. They can be rolled up and transported on backpacks, things like that. So like I said, we'll be taking donations of plastic bags as long as they're clean and dry. Here at the Casey branch, we're at 1500 Augusta Road in West Columbia. If you want to do that, anytime we're open. So we're open for browsing between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and then 2:30 to 4:30 on Sunday. And if you'd like to call beforehand and just make sure, double check the times that we're open or anything, our number here at the Casey branch is 803-794-6791, extension 4. And so we'll have somebody here that'll take those plastic bags for you as long as they're clean and dry. We'll quarantine them for at least 5 days, and then we'll do all the hard work for you in cutting up the bags and putting them together as plarn, and then eventually making the mats. I did read somewhere that it takes about 750 plastic bags to make one 3-foot by 6-foot sleeping mat. So we definitely need lots of plastic bags. And so if you have any that you want to donate, just get a hold of us and let us know. Thank you guys in advance for everything. If you'd like to learn how to crochet, again, we have books and resources here in the library that you can check out. If you give us a call or go online, you can search for those and put them on hold. There are also some patterns and things online under our resources tab on our website, and that's lexcolibrary.com. I'm Kayla. If you'd like to call and have any questions about it, if you ask for me, I can get back to you or talk to you directly. And I'm just going to continue working on this bag. Thank you guys so much again in advance for everything. And hopefully we'll see some sleeping mats from everybody soon. Bye.